Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle, the podcast. I am the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. Today, we're going to talk about Keystone RV and frame failure. That's right, we are not talking about grand design today. Part of the reason why we're talking about Keystone RV is I have some more information, including a copy of a non-disclosure agreement, which I want to read off a few things that were very interesting to me. Okay, but first, before we do that, it's Monday, which means it's, you got it, recall day. So, in the description of this episode, I will link the rvbusiness.com NHTSA release of recalls. I'm going to read them out, so if you want to read them for yourself a little bit later, you can. So the first one is Jayco is recalling 137 2023 to 2025 Integra Aspire Class A motorhomes. So Integra and Jayco are, I would say, well, they're under the same company. What am I talking about? The camera control module may have been installed upside down and flush to the floor, which can allow it to overheat and prevent the camera image from displaying. Dealers will inspect the camera image, install two brackets, and replace the module as necessary free of charge. Now, that's an embarrassing recall. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Let's see, the Aspire's a pretty expensive motorhome. Full body paint, really nice interior, well put together coach. And you install the camera control wrong? Not on like 10 or 11 of them, but on 137 over the last two model years. Apparently they have 2025s already out. I'll have to look for those. The notification letters will be sent out by June 7th. Jayco is also recalling 6 2023 to 2024 Terrain and Integra launch motorhomes. The main wiring harness may chafe against the driver shaft and short circuit, which can result in loss of drive power, power steering, and brake system control. Mercedes dealers will inspect the routing of the main wiring harness and correct it as necessary free of charge. Interesting that there's only 6 of those. Again, if you own a Terrain or Integra launch, make sure you contact Jayco because they're not sending the letters out till June 7th. So you might want to contact them with your VIN number. Oh boy, another Jayco! Woohoo! Jayco is recalling 33 Jayco Swift, Swift LI, Integra Coach, Ethos, and Ethos LI motorhomes. The driver's seatbelt warning light and audible chime may not activate as intended. As such, these vehicles fail to comply with the requirements of the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 208, Occupant Crash Protection. FCA dealers will inspect and replace the driver's seat belt as necessary free of charge. That sounds like me to more of a chassis problem than it is obviously a RV problem, but still. That's 3 for 3 on Jayco. It just goes to show you. I love Crappy RV. The guy who does the whole Crappy RV thing is a fabulous YouTuber. I like him. I'm actually a big fan of his. And this is what I'm talking about when I said last time that he doesn't have an understanding of the backside of how warranty and service works on the factory level. And so, it's just kind of interesting. Airstream is recalling 8 2023 to 2024 Atlas motorhomes. The generator may have been installed without a heat shield, which can expose the subfloor to excessive heat. That's not good, and that's Airstream we're talking about. I'm starting to wonder what's going on in Indiana. Good Lord. Okay, Heartland Recreational Vehicles is recalling 16 2024 Eddie Bauer travel trailers. The tire placards indicated an incorrect tire size. Okay, that's like I think Grand Design had that, Brinkley's had that. Everybody's just about had that on something. That's not a red flag at all. That's kind of like, whoopsie. Now it's not saying it's a good thing, but I'm just saying it's not that bad. Not as bad as it would be intended to be. Winnebago Industries is recalling 15,000. This is the big one. Now we are going to talk a little bit about Winnebago and Grand Design here after this. Winnebago is recalling 15,572 Revels 2017 to 2025, 2020 to 2025 Navion, Porto View, Vita 2022 to 2023 Adventure Van, and 2024 to 25 Echo motorhomes. 15,500 motorhomes are on a recall. Supplemental restraint system (SRS) wires can be caught in the seat mechanism when the driver or passenger seats are adjusted. Dealers will inspect and reroute the wiring free of charge. Owner notification letters are expected to be mailed out June 28th, 2024. You can also contact Winnebago. 15,500. So what I want to mention here is I think Winnebago is having more of a rough time than anybody right now when it comes to certain things. So your motorhomes, you've had now 3 different recalls in 7 months. You just bought a boat company not that long ago. You bought Newmar motorhomes hoping that your market share and your cash flow would go up. Grand Design's name is in the toilet right now with the majority of the community. The only people that it's not upset at Grand Design are the old faithfuls that believe everything a corporation is going to say, just like they believe everything a politician is going to say. So you lose close to $13 million. Yes, everybody knows they did $500 million in revenue or whatever the number is. Okay, how much did they actually net? Minus $13 million. Now, I'm not making excuses. You guys know me. I don't make excuses for nobody, okay? But what I will say is I feel bad for everyone that does not get to... I feel bad for every employee that does not get to cash out $32 million in stock over 3 years. And you know who I'm talking about. Okay? Because a lot of these people depend on their factory jobs. And if you actually think about it, like, how busy are you going to be when everything's going wrong? You're going to be busy in the wrong direction. Okay? And I've been in that situation. I was in a situation where I was running a dealership in Oxnard, California. Okay? Great owner, great family owner, just kind of everybody was in over their head. And the cleanup of trying to clean up that entire thing, it was like every day, instead of doing something positive that was making the dealership move forward, I was cleaning up the past. And it's no fun to continue to clean up bad stuff. It's no fun when you're the grunts of the industry are having to clean up after decisions that were made by higher ups that sit on their towers looking down upon everybody else with their tens of millions of dollars in their bank account. So, it's like I wish that Jayco, Keystone, Forest River, yes, Pete Legal, Bob Martin, Jeff over at Keystone, Don Clark, Jason Lippert. I'm probably missing a lot of people. I wish they would get off their tower, come down to the campsites, and just talk to the customer. It will make your company richer and wealthier in the long run. It really would be. It would blow your mind when you hide things and you hide yourself and you hide your intentions. This is, guys, I know I'm going a little off topic, but this is what made Bob Tiffin so special. Bob Tiffin would never let any of this crap go any further. He would nip it in the butt. Okay? This is why I have a tough time believing that a motorhome company like Tiffin is trying to buy someone off, if you know who I'm talking about, because Bob didn't raise the people that way. Bob didn't raise those executives that way. Even though they got bought out by Thor, you still have a lot of the executives, a lot of the people in Alabama that were a part of the Bob Tiffin tenure, the founder. And if you ever got to meet Bob, Bob was the most laid back, easygoing guy. You'd never know the guy's probably worth $1 billion. You never know it. He's so down to earth. If he saw what's going on with Grand Design and he was working at Grand Design, or if he was working at Keystone, or if he was working at Rev Group or Jayco or any of these places, he would nip this in the butt right there, right then. He would make a public service announcement himself. He would come out and say, if you think that's this big of a problem, you call me. Here's my phone number. Do you know how many people that own a Tiffin motorhome that have Bob Tiffin's direct number? At least half of them, if not more. Okay? And this has been going on since the late 80s, early 90s for him? That's how much Bob believed in his product and stood by his product and stood by his customers. And I just challenge. This is a challenge to Jason Lippert. This is a challenge to Don Clark. This is a challenge to everybody that is a general manager of a plant, or a president of a company, or the CEO of a company that's in the RV industry. Get off your tower, clear your schedule, travel the country to different RV parks, and talk to the customers. And I'll make you a deal. I'll buy the hat and shirt. I'll buy you my HBRV lifestyle hat and shirt so you can walk around in anonymity. I hope I used that word right. Okay. All right. Now, real quick. We need to talk about Keystone RV and frame failure. Okay. So I put together a little spreadsheet of mine. Okay. This is information I've gathered since November of 2023. Okay. It looks like we have 4 total Montanas. Okay. Now we're talking about regular, heavy, fully loaded, fully built Montanas that have been communicated to me. 3 of them had the failure fixed and have not had any problems since. They also, all 3 were fixed at the affinity group. So from what I'm understanding, and this was something that was sent in an email to me about 4 months ago, and I wanted to put this all into one video because it isn't as rampant or widespread in Keystone as it is in Grand Design. But it is there, okay? Apparently, from 2020 to 2023 year model Montanas, from what I understand, the estimate is 100 have been fixed at the affinity group at no charge to the customer. That's what I'm understanding. That came from a customer's email to me, okay? Here's the interesting part. There are now a total of 28 2018 to 2020. Let me see if this one, what year this is. I think it's a 2021. Keystone Montana High Country or Alpine, which, if I remember correctly, is the same coach with 2 different names. Kind of like Flagstaff Rockwood. Kind of like Winnebago Itasca, but don't tell Itasca people that. No, Itasca's better than Winnebago. Oh, okay. They're not the same. Like Hurricane and Windsport in the motorhomes from Thor. Same thing, right? So I believe that's correct. So now we're up to 28. Out of 28, 17 of you have told me you're either in the process of a buyout or have already been bought out of your rig. One of you sent me your non-disclosure agreement, which I'm really appreciative of, because here's the thing. I have an older non-disclosure agreement from Keystone, which I call it a buyout agreement. Everybody calls it an NDA. I call it a buyout, okay? There's some standard language in this that I believe that is standard stuff that I've seen all across the industry in 15 years, okay? You know, stuff like agree that this release will apply to all service centers and dealers which provide a part service or warranty on the trailer. Basically, you're saying you're not going to, after you get bought out, after everything's all done, you can't go and sue any parts companies or sue the dealership. You're basically releasing obligation because you're being bought out, right? Agree that sole remaining cause of action regarding my purchase, use, operation, or ownership of the trailer will be enforcement of this agreement. Again, standard language in my opinion, okay? Talking about bill of sale, transfer title. These are all normal stuff, right? And then there's some other normal stuff, like I fully rely upon my own judgment and not relying on any representation or advice from any other person or persons whomever. Basically meaning that if it comes to tax obligations, it comes to anything of that nature, you're not getting your information from Keystone or a dealer, you're seeking your own representation. That this settlement is a compromise of a dispute claim and is not to be construed as an admission of liability on the part of Keystone or the dealer. Again, another standard thing, cover my butt, right? These are the two that are new to me. Now, my question is I'm going to have questions after this, so please listen to me through this, okay? It says, not to make any statement to anyone else, including any media or any websites or social media accounts, disparaging or criticizing Keystone, dealer, or any products or services offered by Keystone or dealer. Now, if you remember me telling you, the Grand Design non-disclosure agreement specifically tells the customer, in this case Greg Carson, that he has to voluntarily take down his YouTube channel and YouTube videos about what happened to his Solitude, okay? In this case, they're not telling you have to delete the past, but they're telling you not to talk about anything for the foreseeable future. That's new, and I'm wondering if that comes from the Grand Design issue that's going on with frame failure, with their... I wonder if that's a clause that was added because of Grand Design. I'm wondering if Keystone or Thor Industries attorneys turned around and said, well, if Grand Design is doing this, if Winnebago is doing this, maybe we should have something similar, not have them delete the past, but have them make sure they don't talk about it in the future. Okay? To never purchase another recreational vehicle manufactured by Keystone or its divisions, Dutchman Manufacturing and Crossroads RV. This to me, and Jeff, if you're listening, if you're watching this, look me in my eye, brother, because you seem like you're a good guy. Okay, he's the president of Keystone. He seems like a good guy. I've met him one time. Okay, back when I was a rep, I met him in Portland, Oregon during the Portland show. Okay. That right there is stupid. Okay? I understand you probably are going to use that clause sparingly. Meaning, like, I believe if somebody came up to you, and this is why, this is the other thing, and again, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off in a tangent for a minute. Are you using this clause only with specific people? If someone comes up to you and says, we just want a new Montana 3706 FL, are you going to have that, or are you just going to buy him out and put him into another one? Right? That's the interesting part. Like, why put that in the agreement? I mean, if you're standing by your product, okay, if you stand by your product and you stand by that this is not a huge thing, because if you want to go by the numbers, this is predominantly a Grand Design RV problem. But number 3 on my list up until a month ago was Keystone, Montana High Country and Alpine. Those two brands were number 3 next to Solitude and Momentum. So if it's this small of a problem and you don't foresee this being a problem down the road, wouldn't you want to try to convince them to stay as a Keystone owner? Don't you want to not lose that customer? Or are you using that clause sparingly? I want to know that. That's a question in my head. Those are the 2 questions I really have over this non-disclosure agreement. Is, did you do the number 1, the one that says not to make any statements in the future because of Grand Design and Winnebago? And did you put the other one, never to purchase another recreational vehicle under the Keystone umbrella, sparingly? Is that something you only use when you have to? Be interesting, right? Okay. Last thing for tonight. I want to make this clear to people. Okay. Hold on. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not into this for the fame. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because I have now, by email, been invited to be a consultant or a paid witness for lawsuits. And I don't want any part of that. Okay? This podcast and my main channel, I do want to make money with them. Okay? I'm never going to be a rich man, but I'm getting paid through Google ad revenue and through people buying my merchandise and people, donating money to the channel, including a couple of my small sponsors. Okay? I'm good with all that. But you can throw me $2 or $3 million and say, I'm going to pay you $3 million. I didn't get offered that, just to let you know. But you could offer me $3, $4, $5 million to come be a part of a lawsuit against Lippert or Grand Design or Keystone or BFE RV Company, whatever. I won't do it. Okay, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to get a big payday out of this. Okay, and I refuse to give any attorney, like DUI attorney, my time at all. Okay? A lot of, there are some people that have reached out, maybe you should talk to Larry. No, I will never talk to Larry. Okay? Larry's in it to make a buck. Larry doesn't care about the customer. He's in it to make a buck. I don't blame him. I don't disrespect him about it. In fact, high five, mister. I'm a capitalist. High five. Go make that bag. Okay? I'm good with it. But just keep that in mind. Have a good night.